Hello, it's Lance Butler again. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Just as a review, my passage is Luke 4 1 through 13. It's where God allows the devil to tempt Jesus, um, and it's telling the story of that and how he said no, so on and so forth. With that being said, I'll get to the questions. What is the bad news in this passage? To me, the only real bad news is that the devil is tempting Jesus. But it's kind of a catch 22 because the next question, what is the good news about the message, is that the devil, does tempt Jesus. And the, you know, in doing that, Jesus, did not allow the devil to lead him astray. Also, for me, that shows strength and faith and promise. Um, question Questions two: what are humans doing in this passage? There are only two characters in this scripture. However, both aren't human. Um, and if you would want to call Jesus a human, which I guess he was, that would be the only human. And then the other character, the devil, was not a human to me. He was simply a demon. Still, question two: what is God doing in this passage? To me, he's doing numerous things. First, he is allowing the devil to tempt his son Jesus, which shows me that the devil is not allowed to do that without God allowing him. Also, by allowing his son to be tempted, that shows us the true will of Jesus and how pure of heart he was. And even in those times of temptation or being tempted by the devil, he's still glorifying God in all he does and his answers. Question three: how many different places can I stand in this passage? If different places are meant to be the characters in this passage, then I can stand in only two characters' places. Those would be Jesus and the devil. However, if the places are meant to be actual places, then I can stand in the desert over all the kingdoms, on top of the holy temple, and these are areas in which the devil took Jesus to tempt him within the passage. Question four: what intrigues me in this passage, stimulating more questions in my mind. There are plenty of questions that do come to mind as I was reading this passage, and once I read it numerous times, or even in this assignment. One of them is, how hard was it truly for Jesus to say no to the devil while he was being tempted? I mean, yes, he said no, but I always wondered that, like, was it just a simple no, no, or was it, I really want that power? Um, let's see. Also, um, excuse me. I guess my other question, I mean, I wrote it down here, but it's hard for me to explain, is does God really only let the devil come and tempt us? And if that's the case, how often does he allow it? Does he allow it weekly, monthly, you know, hourly? Um, and also, one thing that I found intriguing is, with that being said, with the devil being able to tempt us, or if that is how it happens, this passage reminded me how imperfect I am. Most likely, I'll have to be truthful. I would have given in to some of the devil's temptations, the power, the riches, you know, having anything at my fingertips would be hard for me to say no to, because I know that I've said yes to plenty of trivial sins other than just those huge, temptations. And then question five: what troubles me about this passage, creating areas of resistance within me? I'll have to be honest, nothing about this passage really troubles me at all. This message to me shows the strength of Jesus, both physically and emotionally, because you got to think he fasted for 40 days while he was being tempted. So you can imagine the physical strain that was on his body. And then also the emotional. I'm sure that Jesus possibly had some questions of his own. Why is this happening to him? How long is this going to happen? Or he quite possibly didn't know at all. Um, this shows me, his unwavering faith and in the internal fortitude that he had not to give in to the devil's temptation. I mean, in the wilderness, the sins that he was tempted with, the hunger. I'm sure that hunger was excruciating. Even with him being the Messiah, he had to feel physical pain. So this passage really didn't have any or create any resistance within me. It really strengthened my faith, and showed me how humble I should be in the face of sin. Thank you very much.